What's going on? It's Ryan here, CEO and head quant at Happy Trader. Today's Monday, December 11th, 2023, and we are looking at the markets. And I'm going to run you through a progression for today. Try to keep these videos a little faster from now on. We are looking at the micro Nasdaq futures, so this is 1/10 the size. The first thing I'm going to do is look at the market. You can see that at 9:30 the market got bought. We had a little bit of a sell-off, normal for volatility in the morning. Just a quick spot check. I like to look at the markets, and this is just what I do every single day. We can see that the Nasdaq's leading. The Dow looks to be in tow, and so does the SPY, SPX. This is the SPX index. The SPY would be the ETF where you can be assigned. I go over that in some other videos. Looking down on crypto, you can see that super high volatility and high risk appetite assets sold off probably overnight. Looks like into today we're seeing a little bit of a sell-off, so that's going to put a little bit of a drag, believe it or not, on these equity markets. It's going to have these markets kind of sideways, and that's kind of what it's looking like. But the progression's going to kind of go like this. We're looking at the market. We're seeing the markets kind of up. So we're on the 5-minute chart. This is going to be how to trade a small account. We're connected through Tradeovate, and TradingView is the charting software. So Tradeovate's the broker, TradingView is the trading software. We're now going to load our indicator, happytrader.io, sentiment AI with the Luma trend. The first thing we're going to do here is we are going to add alerts. So we're going to take our sentiment AI. These are going to be the uptrend and downtrend signals. We're going to do once per bar instead of once per minute. Because I am more of a candlestick guy. If you're more of a time frame guy, that's fine. You can do it either way. I like once per bar just because I'm just so used to going bar to bar with back testing and stuff like that. So I'm just going to call this one uptrend, and that's going to be our sentiment AI buy. And I can actually just put uptrend on the message as well. The next one, obviously, I'm going to do is the downtrend. So we'll do the sentiment AI sell. We'll also do this one once per bar, and then we'll go downtrend to match the chart. And bang, we are all good to go. We know we're already on that time frame, so we are good to go. We're going to create the alerts. Just go over to the alerts, make sure they are active. You are going to get them if you go into the alert configuration. You can notify in the app if you have the mobile app or the PC app. You can also show a pop-up, like if you're PC trading multiple monitors, if you have multiple devices. If you're a quant trader, you can use a webhook to send some of these signal data into some of your other signals to correlate our signals with your signals if you're advanced. And of course, you can just get your handbell sound on your machine that you are actually on. In this case, it's a MacBook Pro, and you can also get email to SMS. So I like to use all of them. Sometimes when we're doing some testing with software, we use the webhook, but you won't need the webhook just to set up basic alerts. So what you can see in today's trading session is that it's looking pretty bullish. This is something I've gone over in some other videos where it's going to adjust the mic real quick there. We're going to be having a mic upgrade and a big, as we get a little bit bigger here, we're going to upgrade equipment. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button because I'm going to get into some really good nitty gritty stuff that pretty much no other channels talk about. So what happens here with the, the indicator, once you add it, you can obviously see that the market's going up, right? So, you get that volatility in the morning. It was the weekend, it's Monday now. We have our buy signal, so that's our criteria set A. We have our uptrend, which is our actual trading signal. This is telling us that not only do we have a change to an uptrend happening here, well, this was pre-market at like 7:10, but we had our uptrend signal on the futures all the way back, at 7:30. Now, if we switch over to the NDX, which is the actual Nasdaq, let's see where our signal is there. We actually don't have the signal on that particular ticker, right? So what you want to make sure is time frame and ticker. So you don't want to be looking at the NDX and trading the NQ. Now I will say there's arbitrage that keeps the NDX the actual Nasdaq index, right? Of all of the tech stocks and all that stuff in line with the futures, right? But we are trading the micro NASDAQ futures. So what we're going to do is we can see that a big move has already kind of happened. Um, we can come into this move seeing that we're bullish. So what I'm just going to put on one fraction of a position and show you how we might DCA dollar cost average during the day into a position. So let's go to trade. We're just going to trade directly from the interface if it lets us. Okay, create new order. We're just going to do a market buy. I mean, we're just trading micros, so 1/10 the size. We did a buy. You can see right here that this is our contract. So what's going to happen here with this strategy, and this is very much dependent on having happytrader.io running, because without it, you're not going to be sure about this green Illuma trend, right? So the best thing to do is if you have a buy signal and you have your green Illuma trend, but then it starts to flatten out, like I talk about in other videos. If your Illuma trend starts to flatten out, that's showing a little bit of weakness in the trend. When you get these super choppy moves on the edge of the Illuma trend, it doesn't really matter what the candlesticks are doing. You're pretty much going, like if you look at any other video that we have on our channel, you can see that flattening out is going to be a weaker trend, but as soon as we start carving upwards, that's going to be your larger trend. So the idea here is to put on 1/10 the size contract. We're kind of buying at the tops almost right now. While we're in the trade, the best thing to do is just go over to the markets. You can see the S&P looks like it wants to kind of go negative, and then again, ultra speculative. You know, looking down today, right? So not an ultra bullish day. So today is a Monday, so today's going to be one of them days that people are trying to decide who's going to go first, right? They're waiting for everybody else to go first. A lot of times it takes institutional buybacks, institutional buying in general to get you up to where you need to be. But the point being, if you go negative in the trade, we're going to try to hang around. This will be a little bit longer of a video than usual, but we're going to hang around in this trade. One thing I want to explain that I've explained in other videos as well is when you get your buy signal and then your uptrend, even if you retrace, that's typically going to show that a high amplitude move is on the way. So it's about to come down the lane, right? So it doesn't always happen that way, but if you're within a normal trading session, and you can see we're starting to draw down a little bit here. So a normal, let's say a day trading session where the indexes are open, the futures are open, all that stuff, right? That's where, we're going to be like, okay, well, we might retrace for a little while, but eventually it looks like we're going to head back up. So what you can do here is when you start to go down, you can see, we're just kind of floundering around a little bit. Um, and we can just kind of wait and see what happens. And if we take a bigger drawdown, which we very much may, what we're going to actually do instead of cutting the trade is we're going to add a contract. So the only way we would cut this trade is if the S&P 500 goes negative and then the Dow starts to look like it's about to dump. That'd be a situation where it's pretty clear to see that crypto had it right and was kind of leading the market, right? So that's something really, really important there. So as of right now, we're just kind of in this consolidation period, and we've already had our signal. So our signal would have woke us up at like 7:30 and been like uptrend on the way, but then we would have had to have waited all the way till pretty much the open to take that trade. And then you can see the open, those criteria sets were in place. The open occurred, and then we had our nice carve out on the Illuma trend, but now we have this flattening, right? So that's going to indicate a way more sideways market, and you can kind of see that that's what's going on. It's just kind of a little sideways. If the S&P gets up over 0.15, 0.25, and then we start kind of creeping up on the NAS a little bit, and we start looking bullish, that's going to be a situation where more than likely crypto is going to follow suit. But you never really know with crypto because A, it's unregulated, and B, these a very small percentage of folks hold a vast majority of the tokens. So it's just, you know, in my opinion, just not, it's not directly correlated with the markets. I'd say that Bitcoin and Ethereum are, the closest thing that you get because you do have some regulated contracts. But you can see that the S&P is kind of dumping a little bit, and the Nasdaq will. And we're not looking at any news feeds or anything like that. We're just using our indicators. So we have, just one point of reference, and that can be used in conjunction with whatever works for you. So but this is going to be a lot of special sauce research, development, backtesting into these uptrend and downtrend signals that work for any ticker. They work on any time frame, and they work for commodities, pairs, all of the crypto coin stuff, all of that. So you can do, like Bitcoin Tether. You could do gold, silver, crude. We have some videos on the channel about all that, but you can see that right now looks like we're kind of just drawing down, and it looks like the S&P, like, you know it's sometimes the S&P just kind of flutters, and then if it doesn't do anything it'll just dump. So we're kind of waiting for like a SP dump, and if it does do it, that's when we're going to add. We're only 1/10 the size of the real NQ contract, right? So this is a pretty big like candle drawdown, right? So we're going to see kind of what happens. Does it go down more? Does the SP dump negative? Or is it going to just get bought right back up like a dip, right? So another thing you can look at, just spot checking FANG stocks. So we don't have all of them up here, but you can see that it's just kind of, I don't know, kind of gives me the idea that the market doesn't really know what it wants to do, or that it's waiting for something. I'm not really keen on major news stuff other than Fed days and stuff like that. But this would be a scenario where, you're looking at FANG stocks, they're kind of mixed. You're looking at crypto, it's like looking down. It's like selling off pretty hard actually. And then we have our S&P 500 kind of about to turn negative, but you know, a lot of times what happens with the market, and this is just a really good knowledge nugget, is that, you're always waiting for the shoe to drop, and then, like, for whatever reason, it just seems to not, right? So, it could. And one thing to note about crashes and stuff like that is, most of the time when that stuff happens, it's typically when people don't expect it. There's usually a lot of irrational exuberance, and it wouldn't be just a thing where, the markets ran all year and now the market's just going to like crash at the end of the year. Normally it's not going to be like that. Normally it's going to be either like a geopolitical event, or it's going to be, something to do with a liquidation, or, sometimes it can be some kind of arbitrage, situation. It could be a flash crash situation, as we've seen. But you can see that just with one contract on, there's no stress. You're sitting here just hanging out. We've been hanging out for a few minutes, and we have, a gain on this contract, and we'll see if this kind of, we'll spend another like minute or two on this particular contract, and we'll just kind of see what happens. So again, if we were on the full size Nasdaq contract, we would have drawn down about $140. So you just move the decimal to the right. So right now we'd be up $60 on the full size Nasdaq, just coming in and looking at what the trend is and just entering on the trend. On a micro, you're only going to get 1/10 the size, but on a micro, so like on a full contract, we'd be up to 100 profit. You can see then the SP starting to get bought up a little bit, and that's where, this strategy is really cool with the micros. Yes, you're going to pay more commission. There's been some comments on commission on the channel, which I really appreciate for our back tests. But the commission is just super negligible as far as, when you're only trading 50 trades a year and you're making like crazy percentages, like 5, 10,000, on a back test. We're not going to put slippage and commission into that. Now, if you're trading way more than that, yeah, maybe. But we're going to go ahead and close this position. Now, that was just a quick micro scalp for somebody with like an ultra low risk tolerance and an ultra low, someone who's just like getting into the game, who's not fully jaded by the market. Again, this is Ryan from Happy Trader. Have a great day.